leading RJ with
किस्मत वाली आए जिसे मेरी याद आए जब चाहे चली आए रूप महल प्रेम गली खोली नंबर 400 देखी है एक लड़की देखी है जो मुझे इशारे करती करेगी क्या डरने वाली मेरी बनेगी कोई
don't have the habit of any kind of documentation, and a lot of our valued heritage has been lost or is getting lost every day. I'm really thankful to Shiven for initiating the heritage concept. I was there for the inauguration when we introduced the institution that is now going to be looking after, and Shiven, anytime as always, when you shall need my services, I shall always be there. But really, it's wonderful to have Bhawana put all the thoughts together. The generations to come will want to know what happened in the early years. And there really is no reference point for it. And I think that for somebody like her to put across the 100 years of cinema in the form of a book, which is not like reading a book, it's more interesting to watch it, to go through it in a very fun way. And I think that's a very novel idea to keep the audiences and the readers attracted to something like this. So I compliment you, Bhavana, for that. I also feel that in the years to come, both Shivendra and you should join up and make many more such examples of our heritage. It was heartbreaking to see what we saw in the film of how films are being destroyed. We used to joke during the time when we used to work with film. Now, of course, we work with digital. That every time a take went wrong, we used to joke, "Chalo yaar, iski chudiyan to ban jayengi kam se kam." Whatever film used to be left over at that point of time, unki chudiyan banai jati thi. Pata nahi abhi bhi banti hai ya nahi banti. But can you imagine the amount of valuable footage that has gone into that escapade? So thank you, Shiven, thank you, Bhavana, for putting all this together. And anytime you need any further help to either propagate or to work towards its heritage, I shall always be there. Thank you.
I'm joined by my nephews and nieces, a car full of people. My mother would pack homemade snacks wrapped in her cloth bag, which was in the dark distributed to us children because buying the popcorns was expensive for so many children. What are your memories of childhood? How were you exposed to films? How did you watch them? I have always been curious to know.
I was born and brought up in Allahabad, in Uttar Pradesh. And in Allahabad, the Capital Cinema was the very prominent theatre where we used to go and watch films. In our time, parents used to go and wet a film before the children were allowed to go and see it. तो जो भी फिल्में आती थी और जिसके लिए हम चाहते थे कि हमें जाना है उसे देखने, पहले वो देखते थे, उसका अनुमान लगाते थे कि ये देखने लायक है कि नहीं बच्चों के लिए, उसके बाद हमें इजाज़त मिलती थी वहाँ जाने के लिए. कैपिटल थिएटर शायद अब भी है इलाहाबाद में, और उसकी यूनिकनेस ये थी कि लॉरेन एंड हार्डी की एक फिल्म थी द फ्लाइंग ड्यूसेस, वो मेरी पहली फिल्म थी. और उसके बाद जितनी भी ये सिंड्रेला और लिटिल रेड राइडिंग हुड इस तरह की जो फिल्में आती थी डिज्नी की, वो देखने जाते थे. हिंदी फिल्म शायद जो पहली देखी थी वो शायद जागृति थी, बहुत ही पुरानी फिल्म थी, बच्चों के ऊपर एक फिल्म बनी थी. और बाद में कई सालों के बाद इलाहाबाद में पहला एयर कंडीशन थिएटर बना, जिसका नाम था निरंजन, और हम लोग वहाँ देखने गए थे एक फिल्म जिसमें दिलीप साहब थे और देवानंद साहब थे.
In Badal Bijli, and the lights had gone out, and they said, we don't know when the lights will come back. This was happening in the climax scene when Nirupa Roy's, you are on her lap, and nobody moved. And we were all so patient and accustomed to the lights going out, waiting, enjoying the film, coming out. Favorite दशक कौन सा है? Which is the best? मुझे सिनेमा का सबसे favorite दशक कौन सा है? Which is the decade that I value the most? My favorite decade is the 50s, because it ushered new wave cinema, great filmmakers, and great music and journalism at that time. And because I think the decade is very dramatic in writing, in performances. What are your favorite decades?
जितने भी decades हैं सब मेरे favorites हैं।
सबसे ज़्यादा एक तो बता दो।
नहीं, बड़ा मुश्किल है कहना। आपने जैसे कहा कि जो 50 का दशक था उस समय तो हम लोग को इजाज़त मिल रही थी कि फिल्में जा कर के देखें, तो वो बहुत ही एक आश्चर्यजनक चीज़ होती थी। निरंजन सिनेमा जिसकी हमने अभी चर्चा की, वो इसलिए याद है और वो फिल्म इसलिए याद है क्योंकि एयर कंडीशन थिएटर जो था वो एक आविष्कार था, बहुत ही अद्भुत लगता था हमें। यार एक सिनेमा घर जो है वो एयर कंडीशन हो सकता है, तो वो याद हमारे साथ थी। और रुपए पैसों की बात की तो हम लोग तो वो सामने जो लकड़ी के बेंच होते थे उस पर बैठते थे, 8 आना टिकट होता था उसका, क्योंकि आज के ज़माने में 50 पैसे हैं, और ऐसे हम लोग फिल्में देखते थे। और हर दशक में हमें कुछ ना कुछ एक नया देखने को मिला, नए कलाकार देखने को मिले, नया संगीत, नए निर्माता निर्देशक। ये कहना कि ये दशक पहले दशक से ज़्यादा बेहतर था, ये कहीं ना कहीं अत्याचार होगा बहुत, क्योंकि ये हर दशक में कोई ना कोई एक हाँ कुछ नया लाया है, नए कलाकारों को पेश किया है। और आज भले ही हम बैठ करके यहाँ कह सकें कि जो 50 का दशक था, जो 60 का दशक था वो अच्छा था, लेकिन आज से 10-20 साल बाद लोग कहेंगे कि आज का दशक जो है बहुत सुंदर लगा।
आज का पिंक में it is the first time in Hindi cinema the word virginity is spoken. A reference is being made to virginity. Otherwise, if a Hindi film heroine has to be completely pure, agree, Mita?
या ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कहते हैं उसके पाँव भारी हो गए। But yes, both Piku and Pink were in a way a great revelation, I felt. Piku because it brought in a film which had really no story. It was just a relationship between a daughter and a father. And there was a great amount of identification with the daughters of the world, and particularly in India, because many of the daughters who saw the film for the first time invited their parents and their fathers to come along to see it again, because they identified with that relationship. Pink, of course, the issue was so strong and so valuable and so pertinent in today's times that it was something that needed to be said, and it had to be said in as powerful a manner as possible. I'm really very grateful to Shujit Sarkar and Anirudh and Ronnie Lyrie for making that film and even thinking about it. And thinking about it not so much in a way to preach the content, but I felt to just touch it very briefly and leave a lasting impression. Devising that last comment of the film, No Means No, was by itself very debatable when we were discussing the script. It was felt by the writers and the directors at that time that in the final summation of the court scene, I would get up and make a long speech which would encapsulate all that had happened in the film from the start to the end. But I felt that having said so much already, and all the lawyers that were arguing for and against it said so much that really wasn't needed. And because Deepak Sehgal, who is the character in the film, was hesitant in the beginning because of his bipolar condition to make any kind of argument in court, he would stand up and say, no questioning, Your Honor, or no, Your Honor. I felt if we played on the word no, it would just fall in line with the character. And then the writers and us thought that, why can't he just work on the word no? And I thought that that was a brilliant piece of writing by Ritesh Shah when he discovered this sentence. And the way he put it, that when a woman says no, you need to stop. And it can be anybody, your friend, your partner, your sex worker, even your own wife. And I thought that that was extremely powerful. And I'm so happy to have been associated with a film of this nature, because in many ways it almost became revolutionary. The tagline became the tagline of the nation. And in some of our interviews that we did during the promotion of the film with the media, there were at least 2 instances where the lady interviewer actually broke down in tears while she was interviewing us. That's how it affected many people and many women. We still have a long way to go, and we hear of some incredibly hideous incidents that keep happening in our country. And I do pray and hope that they stop. And I do hope and pray that films like Pink will bring in some sense into these terrible incidents that keep happening.
It's been 47 years.